Hello, students. Today we're going to be reading a picture book called Nia's Long Walk, One Step at a Time. This book has been written by Linda Sue Park and illustrated by Brian Pinkney. As you can see here at the bottom, it says it's a picture companion to A Long Walk to Water, which we are going to be reading. We are going to be reading in class as well, or we have read in class as well. And it kind of is an illustrated version of just Nia's storyline, which is sort of separate from Salva's in a way. Nia's Long Walk, a step at a time. On this page we have the dedication and an interesting note here on pronunciation. And it says Nia's name is pronounced as one syllable, Nia. And I thought that was interesting because I've read this book now for a couple years with my students and I've always pronounced it Naya. And now I realize I've been pronouncing it incorrectly. So that was actually quite a helpful note there. Come on, Nia said. Why are you so slow today? I'm tired, Akir said. Nia sighed. It was a long way to the water hole. I'll tell Mama that you were trouble, she said. Don't, Akir begged. I'll be good. She started walking a little bit faster. Akir, look! Nia pointed out the horizon, where she could see a cloud of dust. What is it? I can't see, Akir whined. Antelope or a truck? Too far away to tell. Probably antelope. Trucks were a rare sight in their village. Akir was slowing down again. Nia said, You know the clapping game? Let's sing the song. And do the clapping too? Not while we walk, but later, okay? At the water hole, they took long drinks. Nia filled the jerry can. Then they played the clapping game twice. Time to go, Nia said. Akir dragged her feet. She walked more and more slowly. Soon she began to cry and sat down on the ground. I can't walk anymore, she said. It's too far, and I'm too tired. Don't be silly, Nia snapped. You've walked this before, lots of times. Akir cried and snuffled and hiccuped. She looked up at Nia, her eyes very big. Nia frowned. Akir was not a crybaby. Usually she skipped along, chattering like a starling. Nia knelt in front of Akir and felt her face. Akir's forehead and cheeks were burning hot. She had stopped crying and was quiet and still. Akir was sick, maybe very sick. Nia felt worry swelling inside her. There were at least half a morning's walk away from home. I must run and get help, she thought. She took a few steps and then glanced back at Akir. No, she could not leave Akir alone. Should they stay and wait for help? It might be hours before someone came. Akir would get sicker and sicker. I will have to carry her, and the water too. Her mother would need the water to help make Akir better. Nia opened the jerry can and poured out half the water. She picked up the can, hefted its weight, and shook her head. Still too heavy. She poured out a little more. And so at this point in the story, you might be wondering to yourself what sort of feeling Nia must be going through. Nervous and anxious about her sister, but also that has to be painful to have to walk all morning to get a can of water and then dump out half of it for nothing, and for wasting it. And she's struggling with this decision. Do I leave my sister out here by herself? No, I have to carry her. Akir? Akir opened her eyes. They were dull and sad. I know you don't feel well, Nia said, trying to keep her voice steady, but you have to climb on my back and hold tight. Can you do that? Akir got on Nia's back. Nia used her headscarf to tie Akir in place the way her mother did. Then she picked up the jerrycan and began to walk. Akir was heavy. The water was heavy. Nia could only take a few steps before she had to rest. Home was so far away. Tears filled Nia's eyes. I can't do it. It's too far. Nia saw a tamarind tree up ahead. She swallowed and blinked away her tears. I'll go to the tree. I'll put Akir down there. When she got to the tree, she thought she might be able to walk a little more. Those thorn bushes. I'll rest there. At the bushes, she rested for a moment. Akir had fallen asleep. Farther on, Nia saw an old stump. I can make it to that old stump. I know I can. Step by step, a bit at a time, Nia kept walking. This is a beautiful moment in the story because if you've read A Long Walk to Water, the novel, you will be making that connection in your head to a very special part in the novel for Salva in his journey. Outside the village, people came running. Mama took Akir. Someone else took the water. Everyone rushed away. Nia sat on the ground. She slumped for a long time with her head in her hands until she heard footsteps coming toward her. It was Mama. We think Akir has the sickness that comes from drinking dirty water, she said. She needs to go to the clinic. It would take Mama 2 or 3 days to walk to the clinic. She would have to carry Akir as well as food and water for the trip. I'll need your help, Mama said. Nia didn't answer. I'm so tired. I can't walk anymore today. I know you're tired, Mama said, but we have to go now. Nia saw Mama's face, full of worry. She remembered how Akir had looked, so sad and afraid. Maybe I can walk a little more, as long as I go, a step at a time. She got to her feet. When we are at the clinic, I can sing to Akir, she said, and play the clapping game with her. She likes that. Mama nodded and held out her hand. She is lucky to have you as a sister, she said. Nia took Mama's hand. Together they went to help Akir. And then what happened? Akir got better after a stay in the clinic. She was fortunate. Waterborne diseases are the leading cause of death worldwide for children under the age of 5. The dust cloud Nia saw was indeed a truck. It was being driven by a man named Salva Dut, a former refugee and head of an organization called Water for South Sudan. Eventually, Salva and his crew would install a clean water well in Nia's village. The village now has far fewer cases of waterborne illnesses, and because Nia and the other village girls no longer have to walk hours every day to fetch water, they have time to go to school. As of 2019, Salva's organization has drilled more than 340 wells serving at least 250,000 people. Students from schools in the United States and many other countries have participated in fundraising activities and sponsored 139 of these wells, as well as donating money for a new drilling rig. Nia and her family are fictional characters, but their story is typical of villagers all over South Sudan. The end.